This is Meteo Mundo.
Hi everyone, Rusty back here with the latest Medio Mundo video. This is your Tropics update for Sunday, October the 15th. Real quick, we want to welcome in all of our new subscribers. We are a new channel here on YouTube, but there is a lot of experience behind the team at Medio Mundo. My name is Rusty McCranie, and for 25 years, I was a television meteorologist in the United States. I'm from the west coast of Florida. I'm a boater. The marine and the tropics forecast were always a big part of my life. Same thing for the Caribbean and the Bahamas. I know where you live and it's important to me. The goal of Medio Mundo is to use our expertise, our resources, and our investment in our technology to provide you with a weather experience that you've never seen on YouTube or any other digital platform. I hope by the end of the video that you feel the same way and that you become a subscriber. Let's get into it. Again, the big story for the week ahead is going to be what's happening in the Southern Atlantic Basin with this area in red. A high chance that we're going to have tropical development there as we move over the next 7 days, at least a depression, if not a tropical storm or even a hurricane. Now, we still actually have tropical depression Sean, but Sean is basically fizzling. It's going to become post-tropical in the next 12 to 24 hours, not impacting any land. So no reason to really talk about Sean anymore. Let's get into our disturbance. Now, compared to yesterday morning, it is a little bit more disorganized. And we'll talk about how that could be impacting the models coming up in just a minute. But I want you to notice that although we don't have that broad area of higher cloud tops and storms that encircled our area here compared to this time yesterday, we do have a lot of thunderstorms beginning to flare up on the western side of the storm. And that is actually indicative of it trying to begin to cycle and to wrap back up a little bit more. Now, again, it is very weak. It is very broad and disorganized right now, but I want you to notice those whites on the water vapor imagery here on the lower levels. They're all on the western side of that broad area of circulation. I told you yesterday that initially I thought some drier air might inhibit or slow down the initial development, okay? That has held true, but there's nothing overall here over the next 5 days that's going to stop this thing from developing. Again, it's looking good. It's creating its own environment, meaning all the moisture ahead of it is going to get wrapped back into the center of circulation, and the Hurricane Center still feels there's a very, very high chance that we are going to get a depression, more than likely a tropical storm, and maybe even Hurricane Tammy as well. So their overall track hasn't changed, right? Their overall area of potential development here over the next 5 to 7 days. When I zoom in pretty close on the islands here, you're going to see that again, you're looking at the end of this area being very close to the windward in the Leeward Islands. Our spaghetti plots or computer models are also running on this. You can see those lines. We do start to see that recurve north and west, that classic recurve, and we'll talk about how the models have changed over the last 24 hours in regards to that as well. But obviously these spaghetti plots are very close to the islands, and I still want to say all of my friends all the way as far south as Trinidad and Tobago, but especially up towards St. Lucia, Guadeloupe, and into the northern Leeward Islands, Anguilla, St. Kitts and Nevis, Barbuda. You need to keep very close attention to this system. The overall thought of this really hasn't changed much. And of course, in the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, and the Dominican Republic, exactly the same way as well. All right, let me show you the GFS model. Now, again, I've mentioned that this is a weaker disturbance to begin this Sunday morning. The question is that a trend that will continue? It's such a blessing and a curse to be able to show you all this information with a developing disturbance that doesn't even have a closed center of circulation, because honestly, we know that these models, they flip-flop back and forth from model run to model run, day to day. Even the GFS and the European model can flip back and forth, especially with a developing system. But showing you the GFS model over the next 10 days, you're going to overall see a weaker Tammy moving a little bit further east of the islands compared to 24 hours ago. Again, the big question is this a trend that actually will continue as we look at this model? Or once we have a more closed center of circulation and the disturbance strengthens, do we see the intensity change again? This is very common in these developing systems. So it's great news, and I hope the trend continues, but you need to take it with a big grain of salt. And if you live in the areas I just mentioned, you need to keep aware of this system through the week ahead, and I'll be monitoring it as well. So that, again, is the future radar of the GFS model, showing a bit of a weaker storm and a little bit farther off to the east. Again, we hope that trend continues. Let me show you the wind profile out of this GFS model as well. And what we'd be looking for on our legend are the areas in red or higher. Those would be tropical storm force wind gusts or higher, and we see that with Tammy. So the GFS model is certainly picking up on this system becoming at least a tropical storm, and certainly some of the model runs of the GFS still have it becoming a hurricane as well. You can see those core winds, but again, note that they are east of the island. So the trend compared to yesterday is good. But does that continue, or does the GFS model just flip right back to a stronger storm farther off towards the west? Now, the GFS model was always farther east than the European model yesterday. Let me slide this out of the way, and we'll look at the European model. The European model hasn't really changed its overall consensus track of Tammy compared to yesterday, but it is weaker as well. So this is the ensemble mean that you're going to see. Look at it sneak right through the northern side of the islands, across the Virgin Islands and maybe the eastern side of Puerto Rico, but it's a weaker system overall on this ensemble. It might actually strengthen a little bit as it tries to recurve north into the western Atlantic. That is the overall consensus of the European model, but again, there are a lot of individual members of the European model that run at the same time. I want to show you that on this pressure plot model. So what you're looking at all the different members of the European model running at the same time, and you can see those plots, and you notice that there is still a wide variety of solutions in the European model. Now, the consensus track is actually pretty spot on. You can see that's a pretty good cluster there, but the intensity of what Tammy might become is all over the place, from a very weak system to potentially a major hurricane. You can see one of those wraps up into a 940 millibar storm as it moves north of the island. So again, there's a lot of disagreement with both models, and that is absolutely expected with a system that has yet to even develop a close center, that is not even yet a tropical depression. So let's look at the model forecast tracks from the European. Again, the black is going to be your consensus, your ensemble mean. It does take it right through the northern side of the Leeward Islands. Some of the members are even farther off towards the west, and others begin that recurve a little bit quicker to the north and to the east. The GFS model, just like yesterday, is farther north and east overall. That would be a fantastic solution. Some of the models sneak it to the west. Most of the models have that recurve happening before the islands. So again, GFS model looking better just like it did yesterday compared to the European. The intensity has come down on all the models as well. But again, is it just picking up on a weaker disturbance this morning, or is that a trend that will continue? And again, the models are pretty good with track with a developing system, but they're not very skillful when it comes to the potential intensity until we get a really close center of circulation. So again, take it with a big grain of salt, but I'll just show you this. The ensemble mean is now down to a high-end tropical storm, but certainly still some of the members have it becoming a hurricane, and certainly Tammy becoming a hurricane is still in the cards. Looking at the GFS model, it's the same scenario. The intensity overall is down, with some of those models still having it becoming a category 1, maybe even a category 2 hurricane. But again, there's not a ton of skill with the models when we're this far out with such a weak storm. Friends, I want to get back over to our other system here, and I want to show you our live stream real quick. I'm going to put this into motion. So, and the reason I want to talk about this is we are going to be live streaming our live radar system throughout this Sunday, okay? It has live, up-to-date, high-resolution satellite imagery that I'll pop on for you right now, actually, and you'll be able to see that. Let's go over to the goes here. Let's see, am I back to the stream? There we go. So again, there's no satellite data there because it's all clear. So here's what you're going to see. You're going to see live updating radar, live updating high resolution satellite imagery, live updating forecast tracks of the tropical systems, and live updating temperatures as well. Again, that is under the live tab of Meteo Mundo. So you go there, you can pop in, get the newest information as well. And of course, as we go deeper into the week, if there is a need, I will be going live and we'll be posting those schedules as well. So we got you covered at Medio Mundo with these videos, with our live stream rolling, with live up-to-date information across the Caribbean. Again, this is what you'll see when you go to the live tab, and I'll be doing some live chats and some live videos as we go through the week. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for liking the channel. And again, if you got some information out of this, we would love for you to become a subscriber. Please do that. And more importantly, you'll get the latest forecast for us here. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.